Hello and welcome again to the front of the queue for Climate and Nature here in central London on Friday the 15th of September. There are 300 people here, so it's been hard to pick out some familiar faces, but we have found Charles, who I'm delighted to be catching up with, who I first met actually at COP26. Charles, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure, Sarah. Nice to be here.
Great to have you. So we're asking everyone today about their personal motivation for joining the queue. So what brings you to London and to this queue?
I think specifically right now in the UK, we're going backwards. It almost feels like we're heading back into the 20th century, whereas we're supposed to be leading for the future. And we were once pioneers of things like the Climate Change Act, net zero legislation, and I just feel business leaders need to really ramp up pressure on government, because in the last 2-3 years it's very disturbing as to the backtracking and new oil and gas licenses in the North Sea. This is exactly the opposite of the leadership we were supposedly showing at COP26. And you mentioned COP26, that was probably a highlight in the potential of the UK to really push the boat out, and it's looking a little bit like it was a greenwashing exercise in hindsight.
It's unfortunate, and we've been saying that often when you see who's putting pressure on the government, we see pressure coming from NGOs, from student activists, from groups like this. Why is it so important to also unify the voice of the professional to government?
Yeah, if we're talking about the sustainability revolution that we need to see taking place, it needs all actors, right? And I think business leaders and entrepreneurs need to be very much at the forefront of that, because our businesses need stability, we need growth, we need prospects in order to build resilient businesses. Our businesses are affected by climate change, supply chains. We need policies to really encourage the right sort of behavior, because we're still operating on a playing field where actually the wrong behavior is being rewarded. So I think now to reframe good business as we evolve the capitalist model, we need leadership from government. We can't do it on our own, but it's good that we are playing our part.
Got it. And it's great to see so many people here today, but equally we have seen some people saying things like, what does this involve? My boss doesn't know I'm here. I'm not sure I'm meant to be here. So what would be your advice to professionals that want to send a climate action message but maybe aren't here today? How can they get started in the future?
I think it's really trying to get the facts, because there's a lot of alternative facts out there, and I think trying to focus on wading through the chaos and disinformation, trying to focus on what is the evidence for what needs to be done. That's risk management in a very sound business way, but it's also innovation opportunities for all businesses and all organizations. So I think anyone can try and understand those facts and then bring them to the attention of the culture that one operates in, and trying to get the culture to move, because at the end of the day we're all communities, whether we're communities in business or communities in our homes and in our villages or towns, cities. We're all communities, and the movements in history that have been successful, suffragettes, civil rights, anti-apartheid movement, this is really the chance for the sustainability revolution to become a successful movement. So we need all people to pull in the right direction for that.
Well, there you have it, all hands on deck. Thank you so much, Charles, for your time, and we'll hopefully catch up with more people in the queue.
Thank you, Sarah.